Vladimir Putin. The name's pretty much synonymous to a lifestyle brimming with luxuries. Well, we are sure you are not surprised. From his collection of opulent watches and designer suits to his fleet of jaw-droppingly expensive cars and palatial residences, Putin's opulent lifestyle has been the subject of numerous media reports and investigations. It's natural why we cannot help but question the Russian president's insane luck. So, whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying it all comes down to his life that we can only dream of living, right? And no, in case you were wondering, he has not erected a gold statue in his honor or called himself a living god. But guess what? That has not stopped him from accumulating a fortune estimated at around $1 billion. If you think you know all about him already, then you need to think twice. Just when the world saw him riding a majestic horse shirtless, taking a refreshing dip in a rushing river, dominating the hockey rink with his sheer force of will, and fearlessly engaging in hand-to-paw combat with a ferocious bear, we could tell this man exudes authority and brute strength like no other. Let's admit, all of this man's moves are incredibly electrifying, with his every word commanding. And yet, there's something super captivating about this formidable leader, a magnetic quality that draws people in and leaves them with no option but to be awestruck. Love him or fear him, there's no denying that he is an extraordinary figure, the stuff of legends, and the embodiment of all that is powerful. Yep, you heard that right. It's no surprise why his entire life is filled with lavish spendings, coupled with insane investments. So, how about we begin with Putin's kick-ass morning routine? Gotta say it, we would not blame you for thinking his mornings involve downing shots of vodka or arm wrestling bears. But as it turns out, they are pretty much the same as your average mornings. Or if we were to say his are way more boring, we would not be wrong. Yep, that's right, the president of Russia prefers to have a slow start to his day, giving himself plenty of time to catch up on some much-needed rest. So next time you think of Putin as a tough guy, don't forget that he likes his beauty sleep just as much as any of us. Just when it begins to fool you, remember that he still manages to look as intimidating as ever, even at the ripe old age of almost 70. Now that's a real wow moment. Jumping onto his breakfast, it's no different either. Chances are that you might not have guessed that, so it will be a surprise for you to learn that his morning meal is quite ordinary. An omelette, fresh fruit juice, porridge, and perhaps some cottage cheese on days he's feeling wild. But before the blandness of his breakfast tricks you into thinking otherwise, let's get this straight. Putin's commitment to quality and freshness is anything but boring. He sources all of his food from local farms, personally owned by the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, Patriarch Kirill. Don't think that's impressive enough? Well, there's more. Putin's meals are prepared by a highly trained and well-paid cook who bakes everything in Putin's own luxurious kitchen. And just as you would have guessed by now, the Russian president is just as picky in his meals as he can be. In fact, he wants to take his personal cook along on international trips, and just anywhere he goes. We can tell that his cook must have a better fortune than most of us do. After all, he's one of the closest people to Putin, always accompanying him no matter what in exchange for a hefty amount. Pretty sure we can all agree that food is probably life's greatest pleasure, especially when you are traveling and are all open to experiencing new culinary delights. But for Russian President Vladimir Putin, indulging in delicious food is not just half as simple as that. If you don't remember, let us jog your memory a bit. Putin's background as a former KGB agent has taught him to be cautious in all aspects of his life, and especially in what he eats. That makes it pretty clear why on every diplomatic visit, every morsel of food served to the president must first be approved by Russia's secret services. But here's another thing you probably never knew. Putin hates milk. The answer to this is not really known, but our guess is perhaps he hates cows as much as an average American imperialist. Moving on, we think Putin knows better than anyone how to live it big. Just when you think what's the ultimate in luxury living, think no further than Russian President Vladimir Putin's stunning Novo-Ogoryovo estate. This magnificent property is the epitome of luxury, showcasing a wealth of amenities that are sure to leave you feeling pampered and indulged more than ever before. Well, that probably has you wondering that amidst a lot to take care, what exactly is Putin's top priority? The answer is simpler than you think: his body. Frankly, nothing means more to him than his body. After a healthy breakfast to fuel his day, Putin dives into the pool for an intense 2-hour swimming session. But this is not just any old workout. It's said that many of Putin's most important governing decisions are made while he's literally swimming in deep waters, working out the kinks and coming up with new strategies to help Russia thrive. As crazy as that sounds, it's true. But as they say, the proof is in the pudding, or in this case, the economy. Despite Putin's dedication to his fitness routine, Russia's economy has been struggling in recent years, leading some to speculate that perhaps he's not quite as focused on the job as he should be. But hey, one thing's for sure, if there's one person who can give you the best workout tips, that's Putin himself. Just when the clock strikes 2 p.m., advisors and journalists wait for Putin's advice on running the country. Yep, nothing in the country can happen without the approval of the supreme leader. For the visitors, they have to wait between 2 to 4 hours to finally get to meet him. But of course, the waiting time depends on the urgency of their queries. But if the wait is in a room that looks nothing short of an ultra-classy conference room, then it's not a lot of trouble. Let us tell you what, it looks nothing like your average waiting room. So after he's done with his tough swimming session, it's about time for him to lift up some weights. In case you are too curious, two of Putin's favorite sports are hockey and judo, both of which require a great deal of strength, agility, and endurance. So yes, whether he's skating across the ice or throwing his opponents to the mat, Putin is really the man of the playing field. That should not surprise you to find out that he was also once the honorary president of the International Judo Federation. Well, after the extensive pressure he put on his body, afternoons are for the president to get ready. And when it comes to style, Russian President Vladimir Putin appears to be no less with his classic look. He's not one for flashy or frivolous dress, preferring instead to stick to the tried and true combination of a suit and tie. Putin's brands of choice for his suits are Keaton and Bryony, which are known for their quality and attention to detail. However, due to the sanctions that the EU has imposed on Russia, it's unlikely that Putin will be getting any new suits from these brands anytime soon. But that has not stopped Putin from looking his best. Even with limited options, he always manages to look sharp and put together. Impressive, we know. And guess what? His suit collection is tens of thousands of dollars too. Once Putin is in the office, it's all about work and no play for him. And the first task for him is to read through the reports of the Domestic Intelligence Service. After that, he sees over what subjects have been told. The fun fact is, he especially enjoys reading through publications and articles that praise him. And finally, he goes through the foreign press. Getting back to his sleep, let's not forget, Putin is a night owl. According to him, wee hours of the night are when he's at his best mentally, which is why he prefers to work during this time. What's more, his dinner is just as healthy as his breakfast, with a balanced mix of protein, carbs, and veggies. While he does indulge in some fancy treats like caviar on special occasions, he's also been known to enjoy some good old-fashioned pistachio ice cream, and he's not afraid to share a cone with other world leaders. What's more surprising is he barely ever touches alcohol. Pretty far from the family-like schedule, the Russians' Mr. Moneybags president goes to bed at 3 a.m. And that's pretty much it about Vladimir Putin's day. Nothing like ours, you would agree. So if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for more videos like this in the future.